Right, so this video is just a direct response to this post I got tagged in. And so I didn't have the search box element inside the plugin at the time of being tagged. I just finished adding it. It will be reimagined slightly. There's going to be areas where I might be doing something a little different with the custom CSS. Basically, this is something as the default value, it works just fine, but you can just plug this into some kind of a AI agent and say, hey, can you make it look the way I want it to look for my app? And paste this in, and it should provide you with something back. And you can also tell it to, because it's a select to type of thing, so it should know about the select to and the sort of CSS possibilities, so like you can expand upon it and make it look how you want to. So the basic setup is you need to select your data type. It works across all 4 different types of data that there are in Bubble that people can be leveraging more easily now, especially with a hybrid approach to data structuring and the data Jedi element inside of the app, making all the different types of CRUD operations possible on the 2 essentially not very well utilized data types that are available to us. So those 4 different types of data. Custom data types, everyone's very familiar. Option sets, everyone's very familiar. You have API connector objects, which are things that you will have actually initialized within your API connector. And so very often when you think about connecting into an API, what sort of data does Bubble create for you? They create for you API connector objects. There's also a 4th type, it's plugin objects, and those are data types that are already built into plugins. So if you imagine that you work with a plugin that is a Stripe plugin, obviously all it is a bunch of API calls already formatted inside of the plugin, providing enormous value to somebody who doesn't want to take the time to go through and do that process, or even maybe not have to worry about trying to learn it, right? So there's a lot of value to be able to use like a JSON or a Stripe plugin. Now, instead of just doing it directly in your API connector. But that is a plugin object. It is a 4th type of data. But inside a Bubble, when we go and we scroll these sections, we only see really well, we see 4 types. They do like your general types, but plugin types, we only see 3. We see options, custom, and plugin types. The plugin types are both API connector objects and plugin objects. And Bubble probably doesn't discern against that because the API connector is a plugin, right? So kind of makes sense for them just to say, let's shorten it down. Your search list needs to be of the same data that is this data type. So in this example here, I already had a product object, right? And it was initialized, and so I already have that in there. So I just said, okay, I'll just make use of that. So what I did is I created my app data, and I just plugged in 1,000 items from a JSON into a text field and saved it to the database just to make it so that when I'm using my data Jedi element to basically translate that into objects that I can then work with client side for no workload unit costs, that is there for me. It's simple. So this is essentially data Jedi creating 1,000 objects for me to work with. That's not a necessary step, again, because this works with every single type of data we have. You may just elect to say, I'm just going to plug in my dynamic expression, which is my get data from external API. Right? And so you'll automatically have your list. You don't need the data Jedi element here to be able to create your objects. You likely already have a way of getting them out anyway. Your ID key name, it is the key that is a unique identifier. It does not need to be ID. It just needs to be whatever is the key name of the type of object you're working with that is its unique identifier. I would imagine here that would be CPV. Now, when we look at field list is basically which fields are you going to look at that are part of the object and try to do the matching against. So it is a comma separated list. We can see here with city, we can see here with the state one, I'm looking at the name, the short form, and the region. And with the city, I'm looking at the name and the state name. So with those, I could be typing in values that I know are going to match one of these fields, and I'll see all the results coming back. Then we have our caption template, and the caption find, caption replace, caption transforms. These are areas where like I feel like I want to kind of tinker a little bit more and conceptualize a little bit further and like really kind of round out those functions or features there to make it just a little bit more easier to understand and maybe just overall better. right? But for now, it's working, and essentially what you need to do is say caption title. You're just going to take whatever fields you want to be within your like drop down as a display of like, oh, this is the value that you can select from, to be within curly brackets. And so with this particular one here for the state, I'm actually showing you the name of the state, the short form of it after a comma, and then in regular brackets or whatever, I'm showing you the region name. When I show you the city, I'm going to show you the name and a comma and the state name. So with the product, I'm just showing you the name of it. The caption find, this is something that I'm implementing because very often when I'm giving values, a sort of name culture, like a nomenclature, like how do you always structure them, I follow best practices, especially when it comes to URLs. I'm very much aware of needing to follow well-known and very easily verifiable best practices that are just how do you work with data within your URL. It's not bubble best practices, it's development best practices. People can look online and they can find this information out for themselves. It's very easily, readily digestible and understandable. So what I do is I have lowercase with a dash to separate my spaces. And so my caption find here is just the dash, and then my caption replace is the space. The caption transform, I want capitalized words. And then my matching logic, I can use an or an and between these different fields. So if I'm using or, it's like either one field or another. So with this particular one, or, I'm saying either the name or the short form or the region must have these values that I'm typing in within it somewhere. And then going below that, I have max entries. I've got a default value. It's not set here, but you just set it to whatever default value it might need. Your no results display. So if someone's typing and the search box is trying to show them suggested values, if nothing is matching from that list, then that's what it would show. The placeholder here. Custom CSS, you could throw this inside of a LLM, tell them to make it look how you want it to look in terms of your coloring and whatever it might be. This also might be reimagined because I do have an expectation of adding different types of elements, and so basically essentially having a more shared CSS, but either way, this is how it is now. And so when you are thinking about this particular use case here, I don't have any information in here about where this data is coming from. I can only imagine that it's coming from an API call. If it's not, then it's fine. You can take whatever is the JSON structure of that, initialize within your API, and then do the same kind of thing that I would have done here and just saved inside of the database the actual JSON of all now 9,000 items, right? So within this, we're looking at it from the perspective of, okay, this is an example here, let's refresh this page. Okay, if I see that, you can see down there, that's the search for products. That's Bubble trying to return to me 1,000 objects right now. Well, actually, it's Bubble returning to me one single text field that is a JSON array of 1,000 objects. It's also my plugin Data Jedi converting them into 1,000 objects, and then this search box element inside of Data Jedi actually initializing itself to be ready to be prepared to, say, search through 1,000 objects. So in the state example, if we want, like I know that I can search off a region, so I can just type in West, okay? I can see everything that's coming in, and we got Midwest. We even have state names with West in there, right? Now, if I want to do something where I know there's only one, I'm doing the short form, there's only one North Carolina. My search for cities, you can see there's nothing matching right now because I have a condition on it that it actually is needing to look at this state list to see which was selected to then show me all the cities within that state. Now, the product one, here we go. So if I want to start typing any random thing, I don't know what type of values are in here, but if we look through this, if I get down to a point and grass roots, right? So we have a large thing here. This might be an area where I need to have feedback from others who are pressing hard on this to be able to tell me like maybe there's something wrong within the matching. I'm not really sure. But with the way that I've tested it and banged on it, it works pretty well. And so we can get through and more than likely say that if you are needing to get something here that can take 9,000 of those and be a searchable dropdown, you could do it with this. It is not a multi-select. I can put one of those in. It's the same basic element. So the way in which you maybe are going to need to do multi-select with this at this stage would essentially set something up to say, hey, when the element is having a selected value, because there is that selected value that we can be seeing right here, just go ahead and save that object somewhere, maybe a custom state list, it's up to you, and then clear it and get another one into your custom state list. So, until I get some time to maybe round out this functionality more and then also implement the multi-select version of it. If you need multiple, then that's how you would set it up. Hopefully this is easy enough to understand.